Here we go!
Hey Blue Blurs, what is up? This is GamerBlake90, presenting you all another Sonic fan game showcase video in continuation of my coverage of Stage 2020. And though it has ended last week, there's a lot of Sonic entries floating around just waiting to be covered, that 1 week simply wouldn't have been enough to highlight all of them. So I'm gonna need a couple more weeks, maybe a month or two, but I doubt that will be necessary, to show off every Sonic entry pertaining to Stage 2020, including this one. A demo of Sonic Robo Blast 1 by Earless Team. Funny how I should mention Robo Blast 1 rather than 2, because generally you hear a lot more about Robo Blast 2, the sequel, and very understandably so, given its consistent updating support over the years, over the last 2 decades in fact, and it remains one of the stronger Sonic fan games out there. But rarely do you ever hear a word uttered about the prequel, huh? Well, this fan game is an effort to bring that prequel back into the forefront, and it is very, very well done. Right off the bat, we have a title screen here, but it's very characteristic. Art style reminiscent of what I've seen in the credit screen for Sonic Mania, at least I think that's where it came from, unless the image was taken somewhere else. To be honest, I'm a newcomer to the Sonic fan community, so there may be some references that I'm not entirely getting, so feel free to correct me if I do mistake any of them for something else. Regardless, pretty colorful presentation here, very characteristic, freaking love it, and you're gonna love this game even more when we do jump into it, which we're going to do right now. One thing I've been trying to make it a point to do is go ahead and jump into the game without taking so long introducing the video at the title screen so that y'all are just sitting there with no action and just doing nothing but hearing me talk. But yeah, Knothole Coast is the only playable level in this demo, and as well, Sonic is the only playable character, which is understandable because it is Sonic fan game, but Tails and Knuckles are planned for an eventual inclusion in Robo Blast 1, so hang tight, they're coming. Eventually. And now here we are in Knothole Coast Act 1, and I should tell you, it's a chock full of references to Green Flower Zone, which you probably expected, seeing as this is tied to Robo Blast 2. Like if you listen very closely to the soundtrack, for Knothole Coast Act 1, you can hear shades of Green Flower Zone Act 1. So it hasn't come up right away, as the soundtrack does still make an effort to go into its own direction as the level presentation, but if you pay close attention, you will catch some references. In particular, if you've been following my Robo Blast 2 playthrough. And there it is, guys, there it is. That piece of music from Green Flower Zone Act 1 that I was talking about is playing right now, and I've actually got that soundtrack downloaded on my phone, and I listen to it whenever I work out every day. It's just so freaking motivational. I could say that for a lot of pieces of Sonic music, of course, but something about Green Flower Zone just gets you ready to face the day. And while on the subject of Green Flower, you might recognize that mountain in the background too. Looks an awful lot like what you've seen from Green Flower Mountain in Sonic Robo Blast 2, eh? And while we're on the subject of Sonic Robo Blast 2 references, the shields in Robo Blast 2 will indeed carry over to the prequel. Take for instance the Magnet Shield, which allows you to magnetize rings towards you as you approach them, and it also gives you that homing attack that I showed off a bit ago with a targeting reticle. Furthermore, we've also got the Wind Shield, which gives Sonic a much floatier double jump to work with. Awesome days all around, boys. And oh, look at that. The after images have been popping up a lot more frequently with Sonic's movement. You're bound to see an awful lot as you play through the game. In fact, they're very, very easy to access just by speed and dashing, or otherwise making an effort to achieve your maximum speed. Love that, dude. Usually the after images are confined to the use of the speed shoes, as was very much the case with Sonic Mania, but not this time. This time, you're bound to see the after images popping up behind you as you move further and further through the game. I'm going to jump back over here so I can show you all the checkpoint, because as you can see, there are wings jutting out of a star ball at its very tip, sort of reminiscent of the presentation of a title screen for most Sonic games. Definitely love this idea from Earless Team, and not to mention how it's animated so that it never stops moving. Woo! This game feels very lifelike. The background and the forefront are like, there's always something happening. For that reason alone, I fell in love with Robo Blast 1 pretty quickly when I first booted up the demo, and I'm pretty sure this game will give me other reasons to fawn over it. All the same, And there it is again, that piece of Green Flower Zone at 1 music. It's a shame that I have yet to finish Robo Blast 2, though I do have a playthrough with ongoing for it. The first I've gotten in that game as of right now was Red Volcano Zone. I'm at the Egg Rock Zone right now. I just haven't posted my episode for that yet, but don't worry, it's coming eventually, so bear with me. Still, I can't believe we hardly hear anything about the prequel for Robo Blast 2. I wonder why that is. I'm pretty sure that it may have been an unfinished project, but still, I wonder why that is. Anyway, the Act 1 boss for Knothole Coast is pretty simple to deal with. On occasion, it'll shoot a multi-hitting attack towards the ground that you can easily avoid just by standing to the left and right. And why in the heck did I try to activate my wind jump when I was right next to the boss? I don't get it. Because whenever you do the wind jump, Sonic uncurls from his running animation, not running, but his roll while he's in midair, and that makes him vulnerable to enemies, so you'll want to be very careful using such an ability whenever you're next to an enemy, whether it be a boss or not. Anyway, that's it for Knothole Coast Act 1, and look at that. There's that checkerboard ball to the left of Sonic's name in the text, the title screen logo hovering around the number for the act, and you may have seen the victory animation for Sonic already. It really adds a lot of character to him. Sort of like the victory animation for Sonic and Mania. I love victory animation that adds personality to each character as they finish a stage. It makes the feeling of finishing a level all the more realistic, in my opinion. So yeah, Knothole Coast Zone Act 2 is where we're at right now, and while your theme is Air Dash, I should probably explain about Sonic's moveset while we're here. The whole 9 yards, running, jumping, and spin dashing and rolling are all available with Sonic, but he has a brand new double jump ability with which Earless Team is going in their own direction. Check it out. It's essentially an air dash. By double jumping, Sonic will uncurl from his jump, and if you are holding the stick or the D-pad in a corresponding direction, he'll gain a burst of speed that propels him in that direction. Which is really useful, especially if you want to reverse your momentum in midair, because say that you're going in the wrong direction while running and you suddenly want to go in the opposite direction, one option is to simply stop in your tracks and, well, get the skidding effect that you've just seen there, so you can go in the opposite direction, and Sonic recovers from the skid pretty quickly, so it's not difficult for him to get started moving in the opposite direction right away. But if you want to achieve that effect a lot faster, just jump, and then air dash in the opposite direction, exactly like that. Let me do it again for a clearer effect. There it is. And this is done by either jumping, immediately tilting the stick or D-pad in the opposite direction, and then air dashing right away, so you get that burst of speed while you're going in the opposite direction. And as you are uncurling from a jump, if you jump again immediately after doing the air dash, Sonic will return to his curling animation, thus giving him back his hitbox, with which he can use to attack enemies, and on occasion break item monitors. So something to keep in mind whenever you want to play around with the movement in this game, which, just like Robo Blast 2, is very, very free flow, but in 2D format, and still very, very well delivered. And now that I've gotten done explaining the effects of the air dash, we're gonna go back to the wind shield, which gives Sonic a much floatier double jump, as you already see. However, this comes without the characteristics, or without most of the characteristics, of the air dash, as you cannot reverse your momentum using it while you have the wind shield equipped. It's sort of restricted if you already have a shield equipped on your person, much like the limitations of having an elemental shield in Sonic 3 keeping you from using your insta-shield ability in that game. There's sort of a similar irritation to worry about here, but it's not that much of an obstacle to work around, honestly. And here we have the magnet shield at work, magnetically attracting rings to me. And speaking of which, yo, I was just posting a clip on Twitter about this exact interaction. Depending on how the rings move here and there while I have the magnet shield equipped, they may move in circles around you without ever heading towards you. This is so funny to look at, like, dude. If it's not hilarious to you, it's not often that I manage to get this interaction to occur, but there we have it. Of course, once you start moving, then only then can the rings finally keep up with you. It's just so weird how that works, and I'm not sure why, but then again, I'm not sure how a lot of things work in a Sonic game, to be quite honest. So there you go. Now, there are springs in this game, but they have a very different sound effect accompanying their use. It's sort of like a dong, but less exaggerated. And there are also a red archetype of the bounce pad, just like there are the yellow pads. and you have these bendable trees that you can jump into that will launch you in a corresponding direction depending on which side of a tree you've jumped into. And it propels you at a very, very high angle, allowing you to reach areas you otherwise would not be able to get to, and of course providing some flavor to your movement. And trust me, there are a lot of flavors to be enjoyed here. Yo, Robo Blast 1, this is shaping up to be so fun! Interesting though how we have the clouds moving in the background, but the waterfalls that you've seen drawn into the background have yet to move. I'm pretty sure they'll update that in the demo though, cause given their use of the core framework engine, of which it has been featured an awful lot in this year's stage, it makes a lot of things possible for games like this. And you're wondering what a framework is, it's essentially the canvas on which a game is made. Like say an artist needs a canvas on which to paint a picture, the game developer is the artist, and the framework is the canvas. I don't want to get too technical with the details of how a framework here and there work, so that's the simplest explanation I could give you. Anyway, we have here a two-phase boss for the Act 2 boss in Knothole Coast. Dang, Eggman's Eggmobile's looking a little run down there, ain't it? The first phase for it is fairly simplistic. He'll drop fireballs here and there. You simply need to avoid them and just hit whenever you get the opportunity. And once you score 4 hits, you will transition to a side-scrolling challenge where you have to hit these bumper spears back at Eggman to damage him, while avoiding other hazards that he chucks at you. Seriously though, Eggman, what the heck happened to your Eggmobile there? Did you decide to go for the rusty look for whatever reason, or did it kick your butt so many times that your Eggmobile is starting to get worn out from it all? I find myself wondering about that. Now, I'm pretty sure it's unintentional, but one thing I don't like about the side-scroller boss here is that if you have a shield on hand before you transition to this stage, you lose that shield immediately, and I don't know why that is, but as this is a demo, that was probably an unintended effect, and I'm sure that will be patched out in the future of, well, shoot, I'm down to 0 rings, because as you can see, I suck at trying to talk and play at the same time. Please excuse my rather horrid gameplay for this boss. Usually it's much cleaner than that. Man, but wow. Eggman's animal capsule here is looking And for that matter, Sonic's idle animation looking too. He's got this half-lit eye staring towards you like, bro, seriously? Why are you just standing there? Let's get a move on! As I said, there is so much personality to Sonic's animations in this game that it is just beautiful. Major props to Earless Team. So yeah, let's free the animals and conclude this demo because this was the only playable level that we've had to work with, most unfortunately. Oh, and I forgot to mention, there's a perfect bonus here that works similarly to the cool bonus in Mania. It's proportional to how many hits you take during the ad. If you don't take any hits at all, you get the maximum bonus of 10. And we have here a nice credit screen where you can control what looks like a clumsily drawn picture of Sonic. You actually also glimpse animation during the Sega intro screen that plays when you first boot up this fan game. And so I'm going to show you that right now. If you're wondering, you can just skip the credit by holding down the B button if you're using a controller like this clean little Sonic GameCube style pad that I've got here, complete with a Sonic and a Triforce pin. Oh yeah, this end of a demo screen. I think that laugh from Eggman came from the Sonic OVA. Unless Earless Team would like to correct me, because I'm bound to get some references wrong here and there. Regardless, once you're done with the demo, you're taken back to the input mapping screen, which seems to resemble a 6-button Sega controller that I remember using an awful lot of the Sega 32X. Pretty freaking clean, ain't it? And now here's the Sega screen I was talking about earlier. It briefly changes over to a more archaic style from the Sega logo, and then when Sonic runs back out behind it, it returns to the more familiar logo that we know. Robo Blast 1 is that kind of fan game that's able to draw you in ways other than just the gameplay, including that animation pertaining to SonicFanGamesHQ.com. I thought that was awesome. And the overall presentation of the title screen. Very, very highly advanced for a game of this style. Earless Team, massive props. I hope y'all get this game done so I can showcase a full version of it. Hopefully. I don't know when that will be, of course, but we'll see. So yeah, that is it for my coverage of the Stage 2020 demo for Sonic Robo Blast 1. I really love all the nods it made towards Robo Blast 2, and the unique direction in Sonic's gameplay pertained to the air dash, which seems to have been subtly named the Air Thwick as well. I'm guessing they took a page from the book of the Speed Thok, which was aptly named with the sound effect made with Sonic's homing attack. Wouldn't surprise me. Oh yeah, if you were wondering, there are some options you can tweak here. The screen size can be changed with small, medium, and large. You have, of course, a volume slider for the sound option here. Perspective effects involves clean or can impact frame rate, blurry, but improves frame rate if slow, or remove effects, no frame rate impact. I would just stick with a clean and can impact frame rate option, personally. And we have the extras menu, which allows you to enable or disable the spin dash, but the TGF mode, I'm not entirely sure what that does exactly. Haven't really tinkered around with it, so I'm not going to try to provide a thorough definition for it. And you can also turn off the time limit in the game by setting it to time over off, which is really nice. But if you're after skilled at Sonic games, you won't really need to take 10 minutes to finish each act, unless you just feel like going on an exploration of sorts. Well then, why not? Exploration is the name of the game with Sonic games. That's it for my coverage of Sage 2020 demo for Sonic Robo Blast 1. Thank you all for watching, and I will leave a link for you to download this game in the description below if it caught your fancy. And if you'd like to keep up my Sonic content, you know the drill. Hit that sub button and ring that bell, and also follow Earless Team on Twitter for ongoing updates pertaining to Sonic Robo Blast 1. And of course, if you like this video, drop me those likes and comments. Always curious to hear from you guys, and always fun interacting with you. And on that note, I am out of here. Hopefully the commentary was as crisp as the gameplay. Well, the gameplay wasn't crisp, honestly. What am I saying? And I will see you all next time. Take care. Blue blurs for life. Peace out.